Please vote for Andrew Lee.
Vote Andrew Lee.
Vote Andrew Lee.
Vote Andrew Lee.
Vote for Andrew Lee.
Vote Andrew Lee.
Vote for Andrew Lee. Vote Andrew Lee. Vote Andrew Lee.
So Andrew, what were your biggest accomplishments as executive secretary, and what were your greatest takeaways?
So I went into the entire exec secretary thing thinking that I want to go for as much change as possible and to make student government more of an established body like throughout the school, and that like I said before, with me not knowing what student government even was, making sure that kind of like it was established and that like everyone kind of knew what the student government did, and like there's like a decent amount of events like throughout the entire year. So that's the kind of mindset that I went in with it. And I'd say like the first thing that I did, so we had like a bonfire, like kind of like a bonfire. I'm sure like your school like had like
Yeah, we had a bonfire and a camping trip.
Yeah. So like we had a bonfire. I helped kind of like promote it like off social media. I helped with the advertisements and like kind of like getting the word out to people, making sure people come.
Did people attend?
Well, it got canceled like
Oh,
3 times.
dang.
3 times due to weather or something. I forgot the exact reasoning. So with the student gov at my high school, it's kind of like it was just all the teachers and like administration that kind of ran the entire show.
See, the thing is, I want to know more about what you did. I don't care about the others.
Well, like a part of it's because like I'd say like relatively like if you're asking for like a list of my accomplishments, I can't really name for you because like the way it was structured, I can't name like one I can't name like
You just
one
had a
thing
big
that
impact on the community, but it's not things you can name.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
What do you feel is your biggest impact that you made?
like okay, I'd say just like the marketing. I helped like get like
Yeah.
better marketing for the student government in general, because I thought before it was kind of like hit or miss. Like it was either you saw it or you didn't, because it was just like generic posters like across the school.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that
And
like
I saw it, and I didn't even go to your school, so
yeah, exactly. So like
obviously
just
it
like
worked.
Spreading the word.
put more on social media, helped out just like in general, made a few things just to put around the school that would like draw attraction, came up with a few ideas here and there at meetings, but like when you say like distinct accomplishment, I'm sorry, like I can't name one.
Well, you spoke at graduation.
I guess you could say not every kid gets to go to the podium and say a few words.
Yeah,
so
what did you talk about there?
well, I just like good
think you
evening everyone.
introduced
My name
someone,
is
right?
I just said my name's Andrew and I would like to introduce the Board of Ed. Yeah, so I guess you could I guess in a way you could say it's, but I'd say it's more of a accomplishment for myself,
Yeah.
being because like me as a freshman, I would never thought that I would be speaking on the podium at graduation. That was kind of like I was like probably not going to be me freshman year, but then senior year, that's me. So
Yeah.
yeah, but going back to that anecdote that I was trying to say before, so it's the reason I say that it's not like real clear accomplishment that I could say is because it's all like ran by the teachers and administration, and kind of like they're like very controlling like over it, and I kind of think that controlling aspect is kind of like limits the creativity and the innovation that kind of like the officers and the students had and wanted to see like through. Like I understand like certain things you can't do and all due to like kind of like what finances, and some things just aren't like school appropriate and should be done like at school and all, but I just feel like the controlling kind of like presence of like admin and everything just really kind of like brought the entire thing kind of down, and that's why like
So how?
because
so how did you uplift?
because I felt like I felt like I was more of an executor of what they wanted, because like they initially were like, all right, go make a list of promises of things that you'll do for the school when I was like running for the office and
Did you
everything.
execute all those promises?
Well,
sir?
okay, I'll admit this. I made some pretty vague promises just because I didn't exactly know what the
But you promised to run in a marathon.
Oh yeah,
And that's
that I
what
did.
got you elected.
That I did, but like me running a marathon, like that's just me running a marathon. Like that's not helping our school. That's just me running a marathon. Be like, people are like, oh, he actually ran the marathon. That's kind of like all it really was. Since
And you did run the marathon, right?
yeah. Since like half the
Okay.
people were like, there's no way that guy's gonna run a marathon for student gov. It was kind of like
Did you post about it and show them all that you actually
I literally did
accomplished
like
it?
so like what I did was I was there at I started the high school like early in the morning. This was like 8 o'clock. I posted like every mile of my run, kind of like
Oh,
mile
yeah.
1 this time, mile 2 that
You
time.
still do that, right?
Yeah, just like kind of like when I feel like it. Sometimes it's daily, sometimes it's once a week. Just this is my run. These are my splits. This is my mile time, and here's how I felt. Maybe it was a midnight run or a 5 a.m. run, but yeah, just the
Yeah.
general details
So
and
let's cycle
all
back.
that.
So,
Yep, let's
so
definitely.
you executed on your promises.
But like, I think I was more of an executioner
Mhm.
of someone else's plan, and like I think that really kind of like limited like what student government could really
Yeah.
do. And like, if they because like I said before that I went in to change the culture, but there's already a set culture,
Yeah, so
and
it
like
was hard to change.
I'm not gonna go in and like just completely diss the assistant principals, diss administration.
Of
If they
course,
want,
yeah.
if they want something like it the way it is, then fine, leave it be. And like that's not my problem. But like I think it's just like a limit, and if they realize that, then I think it could be student gov could be really something else and be like the next level, because they complain a lot that student gov's halftime isn't like productive, and half the time I remember it's just assistant principals getting mad at us for not meeting deadlines, not doing this, etc.
Your one biggest takeaway from your DHS student government experience, if you had to pick one, what would it be?
Running for the office in the first place, I'd say that was kind of like the one that's like the very memorable thing about the entire executive secretary experience. And I would say I learned like a lot of lessons, because today I do like a lot of social media marketing, because during the school year I ran the DAF Media account. DAF Media, I'm not sure if you two know what it is, but it's like a
Yeah.
broadcasting service. So like for the entire school year I was given the DAF Media account, and I was in charge of kind of like promoting like all the games happening, when this was coming out, when that was coming out. So I'd say like I took a lot of the lessons I learned from my experience with social media marketing with the secretary campaign and applied that to DAF Media, and especially the lessons about oversaturation, finding the consumer market, and just who exactly to appeal to in that case. And yeah,
So Andrew, what are your future plans?
Do you plan to participate in student government at your college?
well, at because I'm going to Franklin Marshall College next year, and I'm really thinking about going to their government and poli-sci program. So I'd say in a way, I'm kind of thinking about going into like government. I'm not sure if I would go to like a student government, because I think this is the case for like many student governments. Like what I said about my problems with how controlling the administration was, because I wouldn't really want to be a part of that body as an executioner again. I want to be a part of it as like my own innovative mind, kind of like working through this and that. So I'd say it's up for consideration depending on how administration runs the student government at Franklin Marshall, but definitely up for consideration. And I'd say I'm definitely going to be going to some form of business and government in the future.
Yes. So you don't think you could see yourself as the president or vice president of your class there?
Well, I just, like I said before, huge maybe. Just maybe depending on how the administration runs it and whether or not I think I can make a difference at that program.
So Andrew, do you have any advice for students who are looking to run for student government at their own school?
To all the people looking at student government positions, class presidents, class secretary, class communications officer, whatever it is, whatever the title is called, I'll tell you one thing. Know kind of like who your inner group is, know who all your close friends are, and really know kind of like the consumer base, like I'll just phrase like that, or the base that you need to try to appeal to, and then just market like kind of like what's the word? Network your way through different groups of people and just really get your name out there, create as much publicity, as much traction as possible, whether that's through social media marketing or whatever it is. As long as you get traction, that's all that's important. Like even if it's negative traction, you just want to create traction and get enough traction to the point where everyone knows your name, and that's exactly how you
did.
yeah, that's what I did. And like, look, I didn't have the smoothest path to victory. I told you I had the video where it wasn't the most promising video, and it really kind of like set me back in many ways, but I still made it through. So you don't have to have the most clear path to victory, but you could still be victorious if you have the right mindset to it, and as long as you just, like I said before, get enough traction. That's all I'd say to you on that topic.
So thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Of course.
And once again, I'm Katie.
And I'm Creedy.
And this was Andrew. And this was another episode of She's Busy Podcast. See you guys next time.